First Friday of March here at 6:15. This week I've had some interesting Uber customers. One of them was telling me that her daddy was rich and chairman of Broadcom. I looked it up. Then the next day, Broadcom had an earnings announcement. Now I've got gossip in me that a lot of people, CEOs of these big companies, are kind of like celebrities. And then they have lookalikes of these people, and nobody knows who the real person is. Some people are even brainwashed into that person is a CEO. He's in the newspaper, his picture. But the real CEO is some guy with a different degree, engineering like me or something, who lives over the neighborhood. And that's the real CEO. And then, of course, people make up. There's the famous public company, Broadcom, that had the earnings report the other day after this girl said something. Well, they can make up their own Broadcom company and pretend it's the same thing, or just go along that they got a period after their name, so it's different, and they own it. And I mean, I've done that sort of shit myself when people started bugging me or whatever. But if people want to get into detail, I don't lie about things. People ask questions, I tell them what's going on, but I'm wondering if she made her money by doing insider trade, getting earnings reports and making trades on it. Like Ford, all this gossip about people from Ford are fucking with me. They don't like me. So they make up their own little Broadcom company and own their little neighborhood and get insider information on earnings reports to make trades, to make tons of money, to buy their nice houses. All this shit. That's one thing the dad used to say, well, they're in there doing illegal activities and you can't go in there, like trading on the information, earnings report, insider information. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. Some people seem to think that's what I do. Well, since I've been arrested and banned by the idiots in the courthouse, they have removed me physically, and they've, basically scared me off from going in there. And I'm going to raise hell about it forever. Hopefully, the individuals involved will be scared to leave their bathrooms, scared to be in public, and that their social groups and people will ridicule them and maybe get rid of them. Because I don't like the disrespect. So, see, that's one reason minimum wage for me is $5 billion a year, because I see these hedge fund managers getting $1 billion, $5 billion, $4 billion, $3 billion a year in paycheck. It's paycheck precedent, business license precedent. The rules for getting a business license, well, it makes it impossible for me to get a business license around here. It's not a reason minimum wage for me is $5 billion, whether I work at a hedge fund or at Merrill Lynch or at Sprint or McDonald's or Walmart or anywhere. My minimum wage is now $5 billion a year. It doesn't matter. Time is money. I don't just work because I own the place. People tell me I own the place, and they think I'm just going to work for free. No. Or I'm going to work for minimum wage. Well, not for very long. Now when people are lying to me and disrespecting me. So in these public companies that I'm not the founder of or involved with the chairman of the board and board of directors personally, I own them, but I'm not getting paid to work there, and I don't work for free. Uber, I sold the guy from Cerner the other day. I've owned Cerner, and they didn't make me the chairman of the board. I own Uber. They're not responding to make me the chairman of Uber either. I'll probably be out driving Uber tonight to make some more money, pay my bills. All these people with their stories are making me wonder what's. This one guy said he didn't like people telling him what to do. Well, I wasn't telling him what to do. I mean, he was getting drunk and mouthing off, thinking I'm a GED, a dumbass Uber driver. Well, that's one reason I have my profile telling people my degrees and ACT percent and GMAT, my expected hedge fund pay. I got my websites on there and other stuff, so. I think I'm a dumbass Uber driver. I'm supposed to be getting $5 billion a year as a hedge fund manager. I just gotta get that much paycheck, period. I do Uber whenever I feel like it. And that's one of the reasons I do it. I can go out and do it whenever I feel like it. Nobody's telling me what to do. I'm the same way. I was in college at Oklahoma State. People come and start threatening me about jobs at IBM when I wasn't even applying to work at IBM. Teachers telling me I have to do something. You know, if I get an A in their class, I have to do what they say. That's how I own the place, by being in charge of the conveyor belt line of some company or whatever. Well, their stupid bullshit makes them meaningless. You see, when they do stupid things like this, they become meaningless to me. You know, if I agree up front to work someplace, you know, voluntarily, and you know, people tell me what to do, the people, and you know, if I'm doing the job I'm paid to do, yeah, okay, well, that lasts for a while sometimes, you know, but especially when I was a kid, 16, but now they have a high school diploma and a master's degree in BS. You know, these idiots who act like wherever they are, there's something important, or they start bossing me around or others. Well, I tell you what, in reality, the only time you can boss somebody around is when they agree up front to let you be you know, to work someplace and you're the boss. You know, then you can boss them around when they're on the clock, whatever, as long as, you know, both sides allow it. So, wherever I am, feel free to tip me $1 billion, $1 million, $1,000, $100 bills. I've had a few $100 bill tips, not lately, 50, 100. That's fine with me. I work for money. I advertise my websites and talk to people about other business opportunities perhaps out there. It hasn't got me my hedge fund license or my hedge fund $5 billion a year. But I'm hopefully going to bring hell on Smith Barney, Payne Weber, Merrill Lynch, and the courthouse. All those fucking punks. They need hell brought down on them like nothing they've ever fucking. And, you know, this war in Russia, Ukraine, invasion, war, whatever they want to call it now. I don't know. I told a guy the other day, yesterday, I guess, you know, I said, well, it's pretty terrible, pretty ridiculous, and I don't know why it's happening. But I think similar stuff like that happened here in Kansas City and in the United States. And we haven't seen tanks invade, but similar, you know, these people get in that are powerful, but, you know, whatever, and their immediate underlings do whatever the hell they tell them to do, and people, there's conflicts and probably murders. I mean, I listen to Dad talk about murders in the Sprint headquarters, dead bodies, blood in these accounting firm offices. You know, that there's just blood and murder everywhere. There's conflict and competition for the jobs, and who doesn't want to be the chairman? Everybody wants to be a chairman, yeah. And they got their security guards blocking me from walking into the place, threatening me, or police. So I do this shit, advertise, rant and rave. You can pay me $1 billion to do this professionally. A TV show. The Apprentice, Shark Tank, real business, real life. Let's just call it real business, real life.